So let's talk about this a little bit, because now that the United States is playing their game against South Sudan, they made a little bit of a lineup change here. In goes Jayson Tatum to the starting lineup. In goes Devin Booker to the starting lineup, starting alongside Steph, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis starting here, Perk, in replace of Joel Embiid. What do you make of this starting lineup?
Well, number one is this. The power of media and social media is real. And if anybody from coaches or players tell you that they don't pay attention to it, they're lying, right? The media and social media has won. This is what I make from it. When you have this lineup right here, right? Versatile, Anthony Davis at the center position. And what happened against South Sudan, right? Them having to pull it off with a LeBron James layup. They legs better be so tired and feet better be hurting, because they need to be standing on business all day long throughout this game. All day long throughout this game. This is a statement game for Team USA.
I hate it. What? I hate the move.
Oh, you hate the starting lineup?
I hate the starting lineup.
Bobby's coming out strong today.
I really dislike what they were able to do here. I mean, to remove Jrue Holiday from the starting lineup and replace him certainly with Jayson Tatum, and take Joel Embiid out of the lineup. And I know Joel Embiid has struggled here. I think this weaken's your second unit now. You had Anthony Davis come off the bench previously. I'm concerned if Davis picks up foul trouble early like he did in the last game here. I am not a big fan of this move. We'll see how this plays out.
I disagree, Bobby. Usually we're on the same page. Now, I understand, yes, this was quite a radical move. Yeah. Some of it due to the pressure of how Jayson Tatum's minutes were handled. I disagree, because Kevin Durant is still on the bench. Am I correct?
Yes.
And he was the X factor, so making these moves don't necessarily dictate how they perform. I don't mind him starting, because if Kevin Durant's okay coming off the bench and Jayson Tatum is okay getting DMPs, you have to be okay with the flip side of that too. Anthony Davis, to me, is the one to watch as a big. Bam has versatility on the outside. Joel Embiid can be a specialist against guys like Jokic and those bigs, but AD is the one that sort of fills all gaps. I expect a big tournament from AD. I'm happy with Tatum getting a nod and having a little bit of opportunities at redemption. Even if we pressured USA, they know they can win anyway. And so I'm not mad at this. I think they will still prevail. And like Perk said, they have the opportunity to make a statement.
Man,
no matter who's out there.
You took notes yesterday.
I did.
All my. I feel like I'm in a court of law today. I'm like, I'm going to be found guilty.
No, it's okay.
I think the one thing to just keep an eye on, and we showed this graphic yesterday, is the minutes of Joel Embiid.
Yep.
And as far as where Joel Embiid is, as far as from a mindset here, is where he's going to go from starter to coming off the bench. And what does his minutes look like today against South Sudan here? That's going to be the interesting thing for me.
And let's dive into that a little bit, because Joel Embiid was booed by the crowd in France, presumably because he elected to play for the United States as opposed to having the opportunity to play for France. But the combination of that booing, which I'm sure maybe he didn't expect, and him now coming off the bench, Perk, what can he do here to sort of change this narrative that he's been playing poorly in these games?
Well, I think it's simple, right? Iron sharpens iron, and you're playing with arguably some of the greatest, well, not arguably, some of the greatest basketball players to ever play the game of basketball. And again, I'm going to go back to taking a page out of Anthony Edwards' notebook, right? And what he's doing right now as far as embracing playing with Steph, Braun, and KD. That's what Joel Embiid needs to do. No one is ever going to question Joel Embiid's talent. I won't, you won't, Shanae won't, Bobby won't. But what we will question is his body. Is he going to be in shape? Is he going to be healthy? You're around some of the best, especially when it comes down to LeBron and Steph Curry, guys who put a lot into their body, right? You're around those guys on a day-to-day basis. You should be learning from them.
And I also think, Perk, the most important thing for people to understand is that we're debating who's starting, who's not. But at the end of the day, you mentioned this one word, Perk. I think it was versatility. This is a roster that is loaded with talent, with the most versatility and flexibility to pull out, win games, no matter who starts. That's the most important thing. And I do think that allows Steve Kerr and USA to have the flexibility to make the move, to move Joel Embiid to the bench, to add Jayson Tatum to the lineup. They still can win gold no matter who starts and who doesn't.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think, you know, the South Sudanese, they have really talented wing players, and so potentially starting three guards in the same way. They took a look at that and they decided, all right, this is the lineup we're going with, and let's see how they fare. Earlier today, though, in Group C action, Nikola Jokic and Serbia, they took on Puerto Rico. The reigning NBA MVP, he scored just 2 points for the first 17 minutes of the game. But with 2:22 left in the second, that's when he scored 8 straight points, leading Serbia to a big win. He finished with 14 points, 15 rebounds, 1 assist shy of a triple-double for that game. So this is Puerto Rico's first Olympics in men's basketball since 2004 here. Now, Serbia's win over Puerto Rico, it gives them 3 points in the group. That's a point differential, stay with me here, of plus 15. So the U.S., they would retake first place with a win against South Sudan before closing group play on Saturday against Puerto Rico. Here's a little bit more background, and I know it's a lot, so we'll leave it up for a minute on the eligibility requirements. Remember, athletes cannot have previously represented their country in a 5-on-5 FIBA competition, and players, not teams, the players, they must earn ranking points in FIBA competitions to meet eligibility, which is not the case, of course, for the 5-on-5 team. Chiney, you have some experience in this area. You won gold on the FIBA 3-on-3. What's the ideal skill set in a 3-on-3 player? Just put a crown on now.
Okay, cardio. Cardio is the #1 thing you need to bring to the 3-on-3 game because it's very fast. I won gold. I can't remember what year. It was the first ever World Championships FIBA. It was myself, Skylar Diggins-Smith, Bria Hartley, and Strother. Oh, and here, oh my gosh, like a total nerd running with my backpack. You need cardio. You need to have great basketball IQ. You see the reach.
Look at those
You see that? This was one of the most fun experiences I ever had. But you have to reset the ball. You have to know where your teammates at. You have to be versatile, especially, look at the pass. You see that dime to Skylar? So, yeah, it's not easy. It is one of the most difficult medals to earn and achieve.
Yep.
You have to have good chemistry on a team, which a lot of the teams are assembled. De'Erica Hamby was a replacement player for Cameron Brink. So it's not as easy as people assume. Oh, it's good to get a gold if you're U.S. women's or men's 5-on-5. 3-on-3, it's a whole different ballgame.
You know what? For the rest of the Olympics, we need to be introducing her as Olympic or gold medalist, FIBA gold medalist, Chiney Ogwumike. That's a flex that none of us up here have. All right, no disrespect, though, to the current players, but when you think of the United States in basketball, we usually, in men's and women's, are talking about how dominant we are in that sport. Of course, we know the world is catching up, but I want to play a little hypothetical game here. Let's just pretend we can ignore the rules of eligibility just for a moment. I'm going to start with you here, Perk. Who would your ideal 3-on-3 team be? And you can pick from anyone who's not currently on the 12-man USA roster.
You know what? I love these games because I pretend every day in life. Here's the thing, right? I'm going with it. When you think about 3-on-3, well, look, when you think about 3-on-3, you got to think about guys who could get a bucket. I'm going with DeMar DeRozan first and foremost, right? When you talk about being able to create and get his, he's one of the best to do it. Then I love my Texas boy, although he was born in Louisiana, De'Aaron Fox. Next, I'm going with Zion Williamson because you got to have some size, you got to have a presence in the middle, but a player that also could stretch out and create on his own. You give me those 3 guys and let me be the coach, we'll go and do our damn thing.
All right, my turn. I think my team is going to beat yours. First of all, it starts with probably the most versatile isolation, best ball handling guy we've ever seen in the NBA. Kyrie Irving, who can get you a bucket just breaking you down, who's very fast as we saw in the playoffs. Worked on the cardio. That is the #1 factor, as I said before. At the wing spot, the guy who will come in with a chip on his shoulder, who literally just won a chip. Jaylen Brown, give me JB, baby, who wants to rep that red, white, and blue. We all see it in his tweets. And last but not least, I'm going to go with Chet Holmgren.
Oh.
It was different. Like, I was trying to decide between him and Jaren Jackson Jr., but I do think that you don't have much back to the basket type of moves. It's more catch and finish. And shooting from 3, Chet had a better percentage. I think his versatility, his energy, his excitement, that would be a good 3-on-3 team.
So far, I'm coaching Team Chiney over Team Perk.
Always.
What do you think, Bobby?
Well, you know what's funny? This is one of the questions that we ask draft prospects when we're helping them prepare their interviews.
Really?
Who would you pick playing 3-on-3? And it always stumps them. This question stumps players, and I always say, well, you got to ask who you're playing against. That helps them kind of cultivate as far as what their answer. So for me, I'm picking Ja Morant. I want a slasher. I want a player that can get to the rim, and that's going to set up in our next segment here. We're going to talk about a little bit about Memphis. Paolo Banchero.
Ooh.
I want a big that can shoot, that can get to the rim. And then third, I'm going shooting. Klay Thompson. I want Klay Thompson on the perimeter, get me baskets here. So those are my 3 players as far as playing 3-on-3.
I like it, Bobby. Who do you say that they're playing against when players ask?
Chiney's team.
Wait, so I got gold, Bobby got silver, and Perk got bronze?
Perk's competing in the bronze medal game. That's kind of where that falls.
Wanna try to boast at what I look like. Keep them going, try to wear, I pull up all brains. Jimmy with the heat, I'm on fire. It's NBA over here,